All right, here we go. March 23rd, 2025 in video game news. Graphics cards nonsense, AI nonsense, God of War and Persona 4 nonsense. Are you ready for it? Welcome to Super Gamecast, your source for video game and video game industry news. My name is Aaron. Joining me is Bronson.
Hi. You know what the best part about
nice.
intro is?
What?
Oh, sorry, what? I can't hear the music at all, so I'm just dancing randomly.
Oh man, I have the streaming in the Discord. You should check that out. That's where that's happening.
All right, I should definitely do
That is a useful tool for when you're, say, watching a trailer or video like a Death Stranding and you want to react to things, not react 5 seconds behind.
It's very useful.
Yes. Joining us here is Duncan. How you doing?
I am great. I went on a hike yesterday.
Oh, that sounds
was
great.
Fun.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. How do you feel about both of us being underdressed compared to Bronson over here?
How
well,
are
look how
you
nice you look.
underdressed?
Look at you. You dressed up for this.
I'm wearing a flannel, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yours has buttons, and ours is both black t-shirts.
Our standards are low here, so I'm just saying I'm offended. Yeah. I didn't get the memo beforehand. I didn't know we were getting all tidy and nice going on a date.
Buttons are directly a higher standard than black.
Here's the thing, though, is like if it makes you feel better, this is what I was wearing like yesterday night to a double date. And I woke up and I was just like thrown on because I was like, it's still clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah. All right.
So it's still kind of a trash monster shirt.
Well, I'm glad.
In all fairness,
I'm glad you got something nice to wear to the trash fire that is this week's video game news. Let me tell you.
We got a slow news week.
Not just slow, but like the news that is there is like, ooh, oh no, this is bad. So let's go ahead and start off with something that I'm, as someone who's not like super huge into PC stuff, I'm very curious what y'all's thoughts are. Hey, AMD calls demand for Radeon's 9070 and 9070 XT unprecedented. Which I don't think is too surprising regarding like the news that we've been covering recently, but they say that restocking at MSRP is priority number 1.
Yeah, this is great news. Because I'm building a PC and because I'm like fascinated by the PC parts industry, especially right now, because it's kind of a shit show. And I cannot look away from a good train wreck.
Yeah,
God knows,
never.
And what I've been looking at is like stock of graphics cards, and it is effectively impossible to get one in MSRP.
Okay,
like the closest I've gotten is Asus on their own website briefly had a 5080 in stock for like 8 hours yesterday.
Good times.
That's like the closest, and even then it's one of the higher end models. It's not $1,000 even. As for the 9070, yeah, it's scalped to hell and back.
Of course.
And look, dog, that thing is a great card. It's about 15% less powerful than like a 5080, but it's also $400 cheaper if MSRPs weren't fantasy numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that wasn't just a lie that they tell.
Yeah. So if they can get a bunch of these out into the market at or even around MSRP, like $700, I think that this is going to be the start of people shifting to red team for graphics cards. I think
I think an important thing to think about here too is that NVIDIA has talked about while graphics card technology is obviously incredibly important, it's like not what their primary source of income is now. Data centers is like by far the main thing that NVIDIA does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 90% of their business now.
Yeah, they're not super concerned about out-competing AMD anymore, where they obviously used to be.
Right, and yeah, go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say that I think this means that specifically for this lower tier graphics card market that AMD is really shooting for, they're probably going to get a lot more market share in the years to come by just like massively undercutting the value, like the prices that Nvidia is putting out, and Nvidia doesn't really need to care because they can continue to monopolize the strongest thing on the market, and make their money that way.
Oh, and I also think that AMD is actually, I actually was thinking about it last night. AMD is in a perfect place to take over gaming graphics as long as they do one thing. Because they already work with game developers a ton, because the PS5 is AMD, the Xbox is AMD, the Steam Deck is AMD. All those are running on AMD APIs, AMD everything.
Yeah.
The only one that isn't is the Switch, as far as consoles are concerned. And then
Switch is
they're
Qualcomm,
going to
right?
be
It uses
no, that's
it
Nvidia
uses
actually. The
dedicated.
Switch is Nvidia.
Really? Oh.
Yep.
Hmm.
Runs on a Tegra. I don't know what the new Switch is going to run on yet, but the old one ran on a Tegra from like 2015.
Interesting.
Yeah. But no, so then you have them in the PC space. I think anyone who is doing a DIY build is gonna start heavily considering the AMD option, because if you're looking at a 5070 Ti, but a 9070 XT performs the same for $150 cheaper, like, dude, that's really compelling.
Yep.
And like, unless you're like us, where you do a weekly or daily broadcast, where Nvidia broadcast, without it you are crippled.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's super compelling. That's literally the only reason I'm probably getting a 5080 instead of a 9070. Is Nvidia broadcast is such a key thing for me. And I think that most people don't care about that crap, and they have they primarily just want to play games. AMD's even said the majority of the graphics card market buys video cards that are $700 or cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So all of this together means they're going to be a hot commodity as long as they can get supply out there, which they should be trying to flood the market while people are really pissed off at Nvidia.
Yeah,
I think
and this is obviously good news for them in that regard. The fact that they effectively have sold out of all 9070s means that their effort to intrude upon Nvidia's ground is as successful as they could have expected it to be, because they're making supply based on what they think is going to be out there. Because unlike years ago, the supply isn't limited by a chip shortage. The chip shortage isn't actually a huge problem anymore. They just they clearly just underestimated sales.
I think they underestimated sales, and also because the AI market is so huge right now, even they're involved in it. It's like, well, if I can make 200,000 graphics cards to sell, or I can make a bunch of AI data center cards and sell 10,000 in one go for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just data centers would rather have Nvidia because they're better for that. I think that there's one place that AMD though doesn't have that Nvidia does as far as the PC gaming space goes, which is OEMs or pre-builts. The problem right now is if you want to buy a pre-built gaming PC, like a lot of people do, right?
Well, I did.
Like, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, like you would have bought a pre-built, and as such, and AMD had this problem with processors before they became the processor king again, and have never let the crown go. Is you have a lot of people who just buy a pre-built, and right now, I did some looking into this as well. The vast majority of pre-builts are auto-selected to NVIDIA, and some of them don't even offer an AMD option.
Yep.
If you go to Dell right now, you go to HP, like you can't even get an AMD card if you wanted one. Now if you go to more boutique vendors or vendors who are big on customization, yeah, they'll do whatever you want. Like if I go to Origin PC right now, but like a lot of people don't even think about that. They're just like, and this, I can go on my own like fuck pre-builds vibe, because they cut corners in places you don't look unless you go to a really good pre-built maker. But that's a different story.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of due diligence when buying a pre-built just to make sure that I wasn't gonna get scammed. It's a process. It is a process. It just, I just didn't have the setup to confidently build a PC myself at the time, living in a small apartment. And
I tell this
totally
to
messed up my last one that I built myself.
I tell this to literally everyone I know. Let me know. I will literally build your computer for a sandwich.
Yeah, I think I met you like shortly after I bought that PC. So
probably. Well, for your next one in 4 or 5 years,
yeah.
take me to Porta Subs and I will build you a computer.
The other reason I got a pre-built is that at the time, it was like the cheapest way to get a high-end NVIDIA card.
Yep.
It was a weird situation where if you wanted to get a 4080, which is what I have at MSRP, pretty much the only way to do that was to buy a pre-built from a pre-built company that had a bunch of them in stock and was only pricing them at MSRP in their builds. And that was like the only available way to do it.
So I actually ran those numbers recently as well. Because like I said, I find this whole market fascinating. I love it. I will say the current stuff regarding graphics cards and whatnot has kind of bummed me out a lot and has made me shift towards giving a shit about portables a lot more.
It is doom speaking. It is doom speaking for sure.
Yeah, but I looked at, and even with scalper prices, it is technically cheaper to do to still do it yourself. However, the gap is not nearly as huge as it was. It used to be like the price difference would be like $1,000 and it'd be fucking insane.
Which is what it was the time that I did it. It was I looked it up, it was gonna be $1,100 more for me to get that graphics card.
Yep. So like the price difference nowadays, if you go through, I think I priced it out for the build that I wanted to do with scalper prices about 2 weeks ago. And these prices are going fucking crazy up and down all week long. But as of 2 weeks ago, when I did this last, a pre-built was with the build I'd want would be around $4,300. Building it myself would have been around 3,900. And I'm like, that's honestly a $400 difference for them to build it, ship it, have a warranty for it, and like handle all the setting everything up. That's not horrible. Like I still wouldn't do it. But like I get it. I would definitely understand that a lot more.
Something not working shortly after, which can happen with PC builds, even when you're doing them yourself, of course.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, okay, we'll replace it instead of you having to pay it out of pocket and stuff.
Or something doesn't work right out on a build, like you have to do the RMA yourself, and you also have to do like figure out what part is broken yourself. And that's a fun game. And by a fun game, I mean it sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
That's, but yeah, like that's absolutely pretty appealing for a lot of people. I get the pre-built life. It's not for me. For sure, it's not for me for a lot of reasons. But I understand the appeal, especially right now when, just checking this morning, 3080s are anywhere from $4,000 to $700 above MSRP.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
that's your build fee right there, dog.
Yeah.
So
I hope that AMD continues to pull through and get some momentum, because Lord knows Nvidia's not gonna change their approach.
Good.
I just want some level of competition here.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want.
Right.
That's all I want, is some level of competition. Like I am tired of like it took a long time for AMD to turn things around in the CPU game, and they're still only 31% of Steam. But for CPUs,
Mm-hmm.
but most people I know who have built recently ran an AMD CPU. But like video cards, dude, that is to get to the first non-integrated graphics card from fucking AMD. It's like 35th on the Steam hardware survey.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, brother.
So this is an opportunity. We'll see if they take it.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of competition,
As I was going to say, a company that is terrified of competition, OpenAI. If you don't let us scrape copyrighted content, we will lose out to China, says OpenAI as it tries to influence the U.S. government. So this story is effectively a repeat of something that they have been doing for a while. And that's that OpenAI has been very, very actively engaged in lobbying and argumentation with the U.S. government about whether or not they should have access to copyrighted content. It's a bit up in the air. It seems to be illegal at the moment, and they are just simply still doing it while allowing litigation to happen. And infamously they're being sued by like Shutterstock for using like all their stock photos and stuff for training their AI models. And their big argument that they've been making to the US government is that we have to, or China will do it, and they will have more training data available and their AIs will be better, whereas our AIs will be worse. And
I hate this argument for a million reasons, but keep going.
Well, the thing about this argument is that it is based on the current way AI development works, also like true. It's also true that they will be outcompeted by someone who has more access to more training data than them. Pretty much always. That's the number one thing about current AI models, is that the amount of training data available to them is usually what determines their ability to advance. And China is not going to give a shit about the copyright laws in this regard because they have state-funded AI projects. In fact, and further, China is getting really scary for OpenAI, specifically with DeepSeek recently going open source, being made for only $6 million, whereas you're looking at like $6 billion for ChatGPT. So they were like undercut by a thousand for the cost of the development of the model, while also having DeepSeek perform better in a lot of areas in comparison to ChatGPT. They're in this position where they are really, really scared that they're going to have to compete with China, and they want every advantage they can get. So realistically, if they want to compete with China in the long run, they would need that advantage. But it's also fucked up. It's also really fucked up to just take everybody's information and go, listen, so we gotta, because China, so we actually should get to do whatever we want.
See, this is the same argument to me, at least, as, oh, we also have to pay horrible wages and treat our workers badly because of, we need to compete, bro. We just need to compete. Like
Well,
we can't be better.
is that historically and economically, even that argument is also true. Is that if you take the morality of the situation out of it, a lot of the time, when one party is able to do the evil thing and the other one isn't, the party that's able to do the evil thing just does better. Because success isn't a moral system. If you can get away with doing an evil thing, and it's good for you, and your opposition doesn't have access to that, it's gonna make it so that you have a competitive advantage over them in any given field. And so it's a big part of why China was able to rise as such a massive economy. Currently the second largest in the world, possibly to be the first at some point. Because it had
in the next decade
labor for a long time, and its transition to a middle class economy has a gigantic workforce in comparison to any other country in the world, well, except for India, of course. And so, they legitimately did have the advantage of they could treat people like slaves, and that was good for their economy. And they now similarly have an advantage in AI of being able to completely disregard people's claims to anything, because their government doesn't care about IP infringement when it's the government doing it. Which, to be fair, IP infringement doesn't apply to the government. The US government could similarly do this. It's just they don't have a centrally organized economy, and so they don't incorporate OpenAI as a government program, which means OpenAI doesn't have the ability to circumvent copyright laws like this.
And I also go back to, all right, fine, then as American citizens, as people who don't want copyright used in their AI, then don't use the Chinese AI.
So the thing is, if you want to have things run morally, the true answer, and it's the hardest answer because it's the hardest one to do, is if you want these companies to operate morally, you have to not use them and encourage other people to not use them.
And it's the boycott is the only reasonable way to get a company to not do something. But whether or not a boycott has efficacy is based off of the sort of potential in the market for people to actually influence it. And currently, OpenAI is a company that loses $1 gazillion a second.
They lose a ridiculous amount of money, and people are not like using it in a huge, amazing way. It's being used. Let me tell you, it's a fantastic chatbot. Let me tell you, but
let me tell you, at every day at work, there is multiple people in the company I work for using it.
Oh yeah,
every day.
Yeah.
As someone who is actively engaged with college, I'll tell you that the number one use case for this fucking thing, I guarantee, is cheating in school. It's like so many people cheating in school right now using ChatGPT. It's really good at cheating in school.
It's really good at writing emails for you, dog.
Just write the email.
It's great.
It's insane, man.
Well, like, hey, I need a break. Here's the information. Just copy it in. Be like, hey, I need you to send an email about this, doing this. Proof it real quick. Oh, that's perfect. All right, great. Send it off.
Look, I'm glad you're proofing it. I guarantee you're not. Not everyone is doing that.
A ton of people.
Oh no, that has definitely happened when we've had like people in the company send stuff, and it's super funny.
It's really good.
Yeah, but no, man. Like it's one of those things where just like we have a saying on this show that's like any gamer boycott is a 2-minute trailer from being over.
Well,
no. There's the best example of the gamer boycott is the Modern Warfare 2 boycott Steam group. Modern Warfare 2 boycott. We want dedicated servers, or we want it was something like we want dedicated servers. They're upset about the fact that Modern Warfare 2 was doing their server system differently than the original. Then on day of release, the Steam group's playing total, every single member is playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. Well, so this is a different thing though, because like
absolutely
people are using it. It's still early enough that people aren't dependent on it, and it's losing ridiculous amounts of money regardless. So I don't.
I mean, the cost of one Chat GPT prompt, energy wise, is the same as powering a laptop for 14 minutes.
Oh Lord,
that's crazy. That's crazy, dog.
Yeah. So I don't fully understand this whole space. Why they're pushing as hard as they are for something that they are just losing ridiculous amounts of money on. Because I find it cool to talk to and gather information. But beyond that,
well, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can tell you exactly why they're losing a bunch of money on it is because they think it's going to be the next Netflix, the next DoorDash, the next Uber, the next, one of those where like, yeah, it's unprofitable forever, and then it suddenly becomes giga profitable. It suddenly makes a shit ton of money.
As someone who is really active with looking at AI news, and I love just the academic subject of things like AI safety, for example. I can tell you that the fervor around AI is really on a whole other level. It's on a whole other level because the sort of fervor that currently exists is the kind of thing that can only exist because of the rise of computers being so much more dominant than expected. They aren't talking about this like it's going to be the next Netflix. They're talking about this like it's going to revolutionize society, like this is going to be the next PC. Right. This is to the people in AI, this isn't just a profitable business. This is the keys to a new future, and that them doing this will put them atop the throne of the new world.
Yeah, they expect to be the new Microsoft.
I think they're aiming higher than that. Some of these people are aiming even higher than that. They're not talking like
they're not even talking the new Microsoft. They're talking that they're going to exist beyond the scope of any modern company in U.S. history. Like they legitimately believe in the technological singularity. And there's a debate about whether or not the technological singularity is fundamentally possible. We honestly don't have enough research to properly say yes, that will or won't happen. But these guys, I find it maybe unlikely. It seems a little radical. But these guys are 100% bought in. They're 100% bought in that we're going to have a super AI in the next 10, 20, 30 years that will be able to solve any problem and do anything that you ask it to do, and it'll do it infinitely better than a human could conceivably try to. And what they're doing is that they're going to governments and they're going to investors and they're going to guys that have $15 billion because they inherited some, I don't know, tax company and then sold it to TurboTax so that they could conglomerate to be even larger. And they're going, give us like half of your wealth and you will be adorned in gold and silver upon the throne of our new world. These guys are convinced. They're convinced because they hear all this technical language and all this talking about what could happen with a legitimately convincing set of arguments. The talking points that AI adherents give about why AI is going to be so important in the future are reasonable, and the more you learn about the technology, the more it does continue to seem reasonable. It's just like maybe not to the extent that they believe. There are certain things they don't keep into account. Like there could be a theoretically diminishing returns that we've reached about the amount of trading data relative to the improvement in an AI model. We know a long time ago that processing power is not improving AI models when you just dump more and more processing power onto it, and that we've kind of reached a plateau on that. And it could also come to a point that you're thinking of a technological singularity happening, but then an AI is feeding too much of its own trading data into the feed for that AI to get any meaningful training going on. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
This is counting on advancements in understandings on how AI works
exactly
that have not arrived yet.
It's people are betting on stuff that AI experts say might happen, and the companies that make AI are going to investors and they're going to the government and they're not saying it might happen, they're saying it will happen. And if it did happen and it did do the things they're saying it would do, it would legitimately be the most revolutionary shit ever.
Sure.
Yeah.
And in the short term, it fucking sucks, and it doesn't need to be good because they're not like worried about use case or market efficacy, because they're basically thinking that'll all come later, and that you just need to pay us now to get in for when it really does work.
So the thing is, I'm sitting here in the modern day, and I'm thinking like I'm trying to come up with the best use case for like here's how this will become profitable because it will be so integral to every developed economy, which is people like management types and executive types are like, how many jobs can I eliminate with what this could be?
Yeah, that is well, and like, how can I make it so my current workforce can work faster with this? Like that is also
that's a nice,
more.
wonderful.
Well, okay, so the issue,
it just means you do more work now because you're not crafting shit on your own. You are, feeding shit to AI to craft quicker than you could.
The issue that comes about with AI is that there is a point where the first step is eliminating jobs. The first step is always eliminating jobs because you're not giving all of your employees a thing that quadruples their work speed and then keeping the same number of guys, because you don't actually need quadruple the work to come out. You need the work that you already have coming out for cheaper. So you pay one guy and then you fire three, and you just have him do the work of four people. And that's what the first goal of AI is. The first goal of AI is to reach the point where it's better than a person at a thing. And there's a lot of people out there who are going, AI will never be better than a person at things like art or things like writing or like solving problems. But realistically, we have baby AI right now. Like, this is weak and bad version of it. It will inevitably be better than people at these things. It's just gonna happen.
I mean, I can tell you right now. So I did an AI 101 course at Microsoft, and I was working with tools to, like, I was trying to make stuff more efficient for like processing contracts and documents. And like, as I was learning to work with those tools, I was like, oh, you could totally, this is like one step removed from killing all like 78 jobs in this processing center.
Yeah,
like they're just easily, just in a heartbeat. You would probably need some auditors. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because like, I made a test one in their AI builder where it was like, on one type of document I got it to be like 98% accurate on filling stuff in. Which is like super good. You want it to be, like, great is considered 97% or higher. And I was just like, man, if you could sit someone down to build this out like for like a year, you could probably just take the like 80 people here and get rid of them for like 5 auditors.
Yeah,
and that's it. Like, just and then you think about that like on a macro scale, and you're like, and because I was making it, I was like, I was like sitting there with the AI builder being like, yeah, no, you can link it up to do this kind of stuff in the contract, and I just have to feed it enough contracts and clarify what it means to go where. And I'm like, and this is like a prosumer level tool. Like, you could go get Power Apps AI Builder right now. We can do it for our company right now. Nothing's stopping us. And like to think about like the companies who have like the real shit, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, you're totally right.
But it feels like if that's the case, they're not using it very much.
Yeah, the fact is that you need people who are educated on AI to successfully implement AI, and that's a rare skill than the market has demand for by people who go into AI engineering and get paid so unbelievably well. You know, it's like entry level 200K type of job. It's like,
so we're just not there yet. We're like,
yeah,
okay.
we're just there yet.
I also think
it's difficult for consumer level users to go, oh yeah, I'll use this to manage my schedule, and then like you're figured out. You have to sit there and read on it and like figure it out, which most people don't really do, and so they can't personally implement it without hiring a dedicated person in those companies. And those dedicated people are too expensive to reasonably implement on like a macroeconomic scale. So we're not at a market base yet where it's actually doing anything. But as AI gets better, it'll get easier and it will get more common.
Right.
well, like I think the tools I was working with, like the AI builder stuff, was like, bro, you could totally train like probably a mid-level, maybe even an entry-level programmer to work with that stuff, and like no problem, and then just have them kill. Like once again, for stuff like that processing job, like oh yeah, no, you could train the entry-level programmer in AI builder and maybe make some tweaks to it and just murder admin jobs, processing document kind of jobs, tax processing jobs, just in the thousands, dude. Entry level white collar work.
By a really good AI implementer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's happening in some places.
It is happening in some places. The issue is that the cost of paying that guy to eliminate my job
is not
more
yet.
expensive. It's that it's more expensive than just paying me and my 3 coworkers in my department to do that job for multiple years.
Yeah.
And then running the AI is going to be expensive as still 2 of us. And so it's like, can we really afford upwards of $1 million for getting rid of, you know, a couple employees?
No.
The answer is no, it's not economically viable yet.
No, that's why you hire Steve, the entry level programmer, explain what AI builder is to him, and be like, we need you to do this thing.
We have a huge problem right now of entry level programmers coming out of college who cheated their way through college and are using AI applications not even just to cheat in school, they're cheating their interviews.
Yeah. I've seen that.
They're cheating their interviews and then not knowing how to program at the places they work. It's like a huge issue that hiring managers are having where people are just not knowing how to do the job and pretending they do and using AI to do it.
See, that's actually like amazing for my current job because we are like an education company and like you can't really cheat the way we've set it up. Like like we you know, so it's like if you graduate our program, it's like it's a you know, we can this is great selling point for us. We can go to employers and be like, no, he like legit knows how to code due to the way we do our projects and exams. He has to.
But see, this is funny because now the advent of AI is driven and funded in part by people who are looking to have AI take away jobs, and then they need programmers, and they're getting programmers who have been relying on AI to get into these positions and don't actually know anything. And then the bosses are like, God, these people are awful. I can't wait for AI to replace these people. And it's just this self-feeding loop of getting worse. Oh man.
Well, and that's what I was mentioning earlier with the issue of potential technological singularity and with AI. AI might eventually hit a plateau because, like you said, it's a self-feeding loop of it gets worse. It gets worse because it starts bleeding into itself.
Right.
And when bad data is bad result. That's obviously a commonly known thing in data science. You have bad data, you have bad results. and it's going to start poisoning the well of its own data. This poisonous seepage might reach the groundwater of data, and all of a sudden there's no clean source to draw from. And that'll make its own market of companies that go, we have AI detected all of the data out of this so that we've filtered out all of the all of the data that uses any kind of AI for its generation. It'll be a whole thing.
And that's before they reach, the ability to go to that next step of AI that isn't just a language learning. Like, we're just reading all your posts and making stuff. So, yeah, that continues to be a thing. Hey, guess what? We just spent a good amount of time on that topic on AI. We're not done.
Whoa, the AI cast. So let's go.
Yeah, so video games are not immune from this craze, and apparently this is happening at Sony as well.
Yep. Headline here: Horizon actor Ashley Birch says Sony's AI Aloy video left her feeling worried about game performance as an art. So, this story is that Sony had a leak of an internal video showing an AI-powered version of Aloy that was definitely using Ashley Birch's voice. And it was, talking to an engineer, and it was working. It was talking. And she kind of used this as a springboard to talk about the ongoing strike among voice actors. It's been going on for a while now, and the main issue that they are dealing with is AI. So the end of the story, they go over what these companies have been pressing on constantly about AI utilization, which is that, guys, we're not going to fire voice actors and just use AI from a couple lines they did for us. We just want to make characters in the game that have AI voices that make new dialogue whenever you talk to them based on specifically what you do. We just want to make a really reactive character that is an AI that talks to you. That's what they're swearing up and down. That's all they want to do, and they just want to be able to do that. And they just can't sign a contract that also makes it so they can't fire the voice actors, because it would stop them from doing that cool thing. The main thing that the voice actors in the SAG-AFTRA strike want is that they really, really don't want their voice to be turned into an AI without their permission, and for them to receive no payment for the usage of their voice in projects.
Right.
Which is absolutely a possibility. You could just AI voice software gets really convincing nowadays. So you can absolutely just take, honestly, it's insane. You can take up like 20 seconds of dialogue and make a pretty complete AI of anybody.
Has any of you used the Character AI app before?
Long ago, yeah.
They have a voice option, and I had a voice conversation with Son Goku that was something. Oh yeah, Vegeta's doing laundry right now. What are you up to? And it's like, what the fuck is happening?
It's in fact such a thing that a while ago, Goku's voice actor got mad over a clip that was some meme of Goku saying some stupid shit. And to which he was like, God, I hate this AI slop. You shouldn't be taking people's voices like this. And it wasn't an AI clip. It was a guy doing an impression of him. It was a real person. They're just indistinguishable.
It's that close.
Oh God!
They call him the drink.
Terrifying.
You can just do it. Yeah.
It's so powerful that you can very easily just fill in a bunch of blanks for dialogue. Specifically, there's a lot of rewriting and re-recording that goes on in games. There's a lot of, hey, we decided to make this change in development, this direction, we got to bring you back in for re-recording, and that's a big part of expenses. You could cut out so many expenses by just recording the initial dialogue that you want this person to make, and then anytime that you have any changes to the dialogue or the story, you just use an AI until you hit the point where you're getting unsatisfactory results, and you call them in only for the lines that you really want them personally to re-record. You know, a particularly climactic or emotional moment where you really want those acting chops to come in.
Right. There's oh, go ahead, Bronson.
I want to say, like, man, when we talked about the sci-fi future, like when that promise was given, it was like, yeah, to have more time for art or leisure or whatever. Not like, can we please like automate jobs like Duncan's and mine and to
Yeah.
just ignore the artistic space, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
You know,
the big issue here is that like, it's just the money part. Honestly, I don't care about the use of the AI if it is just as good at a given thing than a person who is recording a piece of dialogue. I legitimately do not care if the dialogue is AI or if the dialogue is from a person. And I think that that's the common position that you're going to see from most people playing games. They're just going to go, I don't know, I just
that's
the thing I care about is the fact that they're not going to pay these people. It's that I want voice acting to still be a rich practice that people could go into and become talented and be rewarded for that talent. That's actually not even really the case right now. The voice acting industry has a lot of problems, very difficult to enter. There's a bunch of issues aside from AI that they're already dealing with.
Yeah.
And AI can really only exacerbate the problem by making it so that there are fewer opportunities to be a voice actor, because you know they're just going to use an AI voice. The amount of demand for voices is not going to change at all, no matter what. It's relative to whatever's being made, and if AI encroaches on that, it just means fewer people can be voice actors, and it also means our voice acting gets worse, because we have fewer people that are voice actors, we have a lower variety of talent, and it becomes less viable for people to really put their all into that creative pursuit and that art form of that kind of acting. And it will lower the quality of people entering the industry, because there will be fewer people that are able to really practice it and become great. And that sucks. That all sucks. It just actively erodes the foundation of the creation of an art form. And we don't like that.
Yes. Yeah, a whole lot of problems arise from this. But and what's so funny is that voice actors already don't get paid very well anyway for their work.
No,
so it's amazing that
they get paid like shit.
It's amazing that they're going after this. Like, this is the cut you're making. All right.
It's because, and this is something that drives me insane in every company I've ever worked for. They don't consider it like, and this is the same thing when you work for like a popular company. This shit happens too. Is like, oh, that's a fun job, so we should pay it less because a lot of people want to do it.
Yep.
Like that. That's
not even that. That's not even the direct mentality too. It's more that people want to do this job, and so they're willing to take less pay to do it because they're passionate. It's a problem in all artistic industries. In that, the fact of the matter is, if you want to do art, if you are passionate about art, if you want to make video games, if you want to be a voice actor, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be, you know, any artistic pursuit, the fact of the matter is that you want to do it, and that you're willing to take shit for the sake of doing something you love. And companies know that that means that you're willing to be paid less, and that they can save money off paying you less. Like you said, it's a fun job, but it's not only that. It's a it can be a shit job, but it's a shit job they want to do, and so they'll take the lower pay, and we'll take the saving.
Well, I mean, like, it's the same thing. You know, we got a good taste of this in the game journalist space, where, like, I think, and this was almost a decade ago at this point, but the starting salary for an editor at IGN was like $55K a year. and you're like, oh, that's not horrible. But then you remember you have to, at the time, you had to live in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and granted, if you could climb the ladder to senior editor, you're making like 6 figures, dog. But like, how many people are really going to?
6 figures is also still 40,000 a year anywhere else.
Yes, but like that's still livable. Like that's still livable. But like, 55K a year, San Francisco. Like, what are you doing? Live on like 12 roommates?
Yeah,
you know, like what, dog?
And journalism as a whole has this problem. Largely, people that get into journalism get into it because they feel passionate about the coverage of the news and the spreading of information, and they find it to be an important part of our society, and it's kind of altruistic in nature, getting into journalism, because it's not a profitable thing, and they know that it's altruistic in nature, and so they're like, okay, well, you're doing this because you're passionate about it and you really want to do it, so you'll take dirt to do it.
Like, like our local newspaper pays $47,000 a year to start.
Yeah,
which like that's crazy because.
But you need a lot.
I make a little bit. The fact that like to start there you need a bachelor's degree in general, but like even then, like 37K a year, dog, with a bachelor's degree to go report on the news, like that's wild.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
imagine
just like,
working that hard over a matter of years to get 37,000, and then the company says we have an AI to do the thing that you do. Bye.
Yeah, an AI that has no concept of standards or anything.
They have a concept. It's like this one TXT document. It's just like, hey, maybe don't do this. I don't know. We won't really enforce it. Just do what you do.
This is, my entire like first half semester of a journalism class was just like history and ethics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, on this broadcast, we have almost certainly read a news story that has been generated by AI. Like, inevitably has to have happened.
Aaron, sorry. No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
It looked like your audio wasn't working for a sec. My bad.
Okay.
I know, I was having a heart attack myself.
I'm juggling like 12 different things and running this stream. So whenever anything, there's a hint of something going wrong, like, what's it? What is it? Okay.
Anyway.
Get an AI to run this show. God.
No, like totally. Or if not, and that sucks, but it is the death of journalism. It's partly why we don't have quality news reporting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's AI, right?
The summary there is doom and horror and destruction.
We need to figure out a system for when this all starts taking over. Because the people who are in charge of it aren't interested in figuring it out and do not care about the long-term repercussions of it.
Yeah.
Ooh, anyway. All right, let's move to another story. Unless you have something, Duncan.
No, on a lighter note, PS5 sales are outpacing PS4 in the US, but Xbox Series X and S sales lag behind Xbox One.
Aaron, please get the next news story.
It's up. It's up. It's yeah. You know what? This is happy news compared to what we've been talking about, because now we're back to our wheelhouse. This is what we love talking about. Is Sony continues to do well.
The console war.
Xbox is continuing to be Xbox. Here we go.
Let's wade back in.
Okay, so hey, what's going on? Is it the same stuff we've been talking about?
Kind of. The main reason I put this thing in here is it shows console gaming is on kind of a backslide the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Like console sales as a whole went down.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of my big thing, and it shows PC is on an upswing.
But it's still out. The consoles are still outpacing their last gen predecessors.
At least in PlayStation's case.
At least in
yes.
PlayStation's
And
case, yeah.
Xbox isn't.
Well, I mean, that does not surprise me one bit. Like, I'm more concerned with Sony's stuff because Xbox's like string of news the last few years is like, yeah, I'm not surprised.
They're running the Sega playbook, but in slow motion.
Right.
The overall thing the story is saying is that Sony is like, yeah, consoles, we're still doing it, it's fine, and Xbox is like, we're still making money on the video game market. It's just less about the consoles now because we're taking on more PC stuff and stuff about video game sales. And then when Xbox is asked, hey, are you guys gonna not make consoles anymore? They went, actually, we are still making consoles. We're just gonna make different consoles. Part of the story is that reportedly Xbox is going to be releasing another Xbox in 2027 along with its handheld version of a console. It's Steam Deck competitor, but the console that they're releasing is one that's likely going to be intended to be a lot more like a PC, as in it'll have access to other storefronts than the Microsoft storefront, so it'll run Steam games and stuff.
Okay.
And that's cool.
That is cool.
I think that's. Now I'm just really confused on what they're doing with that then, because I'm just like, okay, then you're not making money off the store.
You're using the box and they're advertising their Xbox games up front when you move over to Steam, right?
They might be doing what Apple does. And that's that they go, you're on our thing. Even if we're using your thing, you have to pay us a percentage of anything that goes through our thing. Which they could conceivably do to Steam. They could be developing a deal where we've got our Steam box and it's an Xbox that runs Steam, but Steam has to give us a profit split for any sales that go through this device.
Okay. All right. So like that 30% that everyone gets for games, that gets cut up even further?
Yeah, effectively.
Okay.
Going, hey, hit us with a third of that. And Steam might go yes or no, or it's worth it because more people will have access to this thing, because then we get access to the profit share of the console market, which we didn't have at all before. It could be that they reject the deal entirely. This is speculative on my part. This deal, this is the only way I could think economically it would function, where they would have to have some kind of profit share agreement with Steam, because like you said, the store is like the thing that is making Microsoft so much money on Xbox consoles and with their games, is that you can get them through their Microsoft store. But given their shift of publishing a game on all platforms rather than just keeping it to Xbox, they might also just choose to be ignoring that, and they're more worried about releasing games that are good that make money.
I also realized like one thing they could be doing also is, I know a lot of people have computers in like an office or a separate room, and they probably would like playing their Steam games on a TV, but don't want to spend money for another computer.
Which we are looking at a possibility of that, happening here real soon. The downswing of console sales may trend a little upward.
Yeah, like I think that maybe is it. Is like
my example here would be that Noita, my favorite game, is not on consoles. It's not on consoles because there's no conceivable way that thing could be ported to anything. It's crazy. It's just far too complicated of a game to ever port. Xbox could be looking at the fact that a lot of developers really don't want to port their games and don't have the funds. They're not a large enough team. It's just not going to happen for them that a port is going to get made for what they're doing. And so they're pivoting to be able to go, all right, on the Xbox, you could play all these games that PlayStation doesn't have because the team doesn't need to port it. It's running like it runs on PC, but on our thing. and you can play anything that has controller support, or maybe you can even plug a mouse into the thing and run it that way.
I don't see why not. I don't. That would not be a bad move
I mean,
at all. You can do that now, right?
Yeah, you can already plug a mouse into an Xbox and it works, and it has a web browser.
Yeah.
Like, we actually tested this at my job. Is you can totally do our coursework on an Xbox.
Yeah,
That is a thing.
Yeah, I think that would be a smart move. Like Steam is by far my favorite marketplace for games, so
yeah,
having access to that in
I think
console form would be great.
I think that it makes the most sense for their handheld, actually, because one of my biggest complaints about the Steam Deck is getting Game Pass to work is a giant pain in the ass.
Right.
It is anything that is outside of the Steam itself is kind of a giant pain in the ass because Linux. So like having Game Pass and Steam on a handheld is very appealing, especially if Microsoft can go to the third parties and be like, look, dog, you got to get your anti-cheat to support Linux. You got to do it. You got to do it. Because like I would love to play like Black Ops 6 on my Steam Deck. Like it runs, but like it can't because its anti-cheat tells me to go F myself. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would love that. So I think that is a big advantage point. I think that like for the console itself, I don't know how big of a deal that is or not. Like that's its own thing. But
yeah. I think that it's just an obviously incredible move if they can make it so that all Steam games just work on their console. That would be that would go great for them. And it would be particularly huge for all those slop porn game publishers.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Right? I think what is this? Let me look at new and trending. I think Sex Exit would be doing great.
Sex It was right there.
Whatever. It was right there immediately. It would do great in an environment where console players have access to that and can make the small-brained impulse purchase of the overpriced, underproduced pornography that is on Steam.
Yep. It'll be great. No problems.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would be fun. I can't wait to read those news stories when they come around.
I think the interesting part about this for me is like legitimately the fact that consoles are in a backslide, but PC gaming is also simultaneously more expensive than ever.
Yep.
And also optimization on big titles is still ass.
Yes.
And
the article itself in its own, subtitle says like, hey, also remember GTA 6 is coming out. So
look,
there could be a magic bullet of GTA 6 that simply undoes any of these worries for both competitors.
GTA 6 is going to change this industry in a crazy way.
Right.
But
it's far enough in the future that who knows what's going on with PC part prices and
GTA 6 not changing this industry would be a crazier news story.
Yes.
than it changing the industry.
Yes, like GTA 6 coming out, selling well, and then nothing changes would be weird.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's gonna be good. Speaking of
console
world,
to start, though.
Yeah. Speaking of game world altering video games such as GTA 6, Persona 4. Have y'all played
it? Yeah, I may have played Persona 4 at one point in my life. I totally have done.
Haven't.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. And
you should. That's what I think. Persona 4 is better than 5.
Wow.
So I have a funny interaction with Persona 4. I tried to play Persona 4 years ago, and it completely bounced me. Because I I played it and I was like, I guess I'm terrible at this game. Which was new for me because you guys have played a couple games with me. kind of a fucking gamer.
Capital G
Pretty good.
gamer.
I am clipping those 5 seconds. That's fantastic.
Good at most games I play.
Yes.
So when I hopped into Persona 4 and I could not beat the first dungeon, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I suck at this game, and I don't see why what I'm doing wrong.
You should probably go back.
I found out later.
Okay.
I found out later what I was doing wrong was that I thought I had to do that in one day.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that in that game. That's a bad idea.
And that you should enter the dungeon. I thought you were just supposed to beat it, and I'm like, I don't have the resources here. I run out of mana. I run out of MP, and I don't have attacks left, and I don't know what's gonna be a critical hit, what's gonna not be a critical hit, and I have to like scope that out on every new enemy I meet, and I get to this boss and I have no resources, and I get blown out. And it turns out you're supposed to like go do stuff and then heal and then come back.
This is amazing, by the way. This is now my new favorite Persona story.
Damn. Yeah, that's rough.
So I got completely bounced by P4 until I played P5, because P5 forces you to do that. It forces you out of the dungeon at multiple points. So in the first dungeon in P5, you can't fuck it up like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I got taught. I got taught by playing that game that I was just playing the game wrong.
This is the best story I've ever heard for Persona 4 by far.
I've since been like, oh, I guess I got to revisit that. So like, I own Persona 4 Golden on PC, and I plan on playing it. I just haven't gotten around to it. The news story question is that I should maybe wait a little longer to play Persona 4 because a new domain has been registered for p4re.jp, which would normally be pretty innocuous if not for the fact that before Persona 3's remake, p3re.jp was registered a couple months prior. So it is indicative of a possible remake announcement for P4RE.
It needs to be said that the purchasing of a domain does not mean something as big as a video game exists necessarily.
Yeah.
But
we do it all the time.
Yeah.
Or what if we do something?
Yeah.
They much rather would just like to sit on the domain than find out that somebody else bought it and that they want it. So it literally could just be someone there realizing, oh hey, we bought the domain for P3RE and we used it. We should have that same domain for every title that where we own in case we want to remake them. And a Persona 4 remake was obviously in the cards for them. Like,
yeah, it makes sense.
The Persona 3 remake was successful, and Persona 4 is a PS2 and PSP game primarily. So like,
need a game.
They probably do at some point want to give it the same treatment of up-resing it and giving us those nice models and the better form of running around than they had in P4.
I think that game is the best Persona game from a story perspective, and I like its battles the most, especially Golden. So giving that game the new fancy presentation from 5 and P3 remake and Metaphor just is, I would just be so fucking ready for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it. Is still the best story in my opinion out of the 3 Persona games. And I also think that it is the one with look, man, 1 and 2 are different.
You're right. You're correct.
Look, I know what I said. Look, 1 and 2 are their own thing. They're good games. They're just not these games.
Yeah, I mean, I think in 1 you play like adults, like it's not a weird high school drama. It's just got completely other shit going on.
They should though. Next Persona,
also,
Ichiban-esque kind of turn.
I mean, that's kind of what Like a Dragon is. It's basically Persona, but 40-year-old burnouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, especially don't you in 8, don't you get like a fucking Pokemon trainer ass
Yep. You get
character job style that is effectively 1-to-1 a Persona gameplay?
Yeah, you also get a Pokemon mini game, but the Pokemon are just weird guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my Pokemon team in that game was 3 homeless guys and 3 karate masters.
Nice. I like it.
I've come to love Persona's combat just because I really like that this is a setting in a game where you can make an invincible guy, just a totally, completely invincible guy. That's great. It's a good game.
Oh yeah, no. A big part of why Black Frost is so unbelievably good in Persona 4 is because he is great against like 4 or 5 of the element types and can do crazy damage if you buff him up. He's like, even though he's something that you can get at like level 40, I carried him all the way towards the end of the game just because he would get healed randomly by abilities.
Yeah, in Persona 5, I just rushed making a Persona that had every immunity and an attack that hit everybody for crazy damage. And then I played the rest of the game that way.
Hey, it's awesome.
It's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
But I think 4 has the best cast. I think it's the only one. It had the least amount of dungeons that annoyed me. Like Persona 3, Tartarus is ass. Like Tartarus is a miserable experience and I don't like it. It's not fun. I get that it plays into the themes of the story really well, but it's the number one reason I also tell people that, like, hey, this is by far the most grindy game and the most annoying one. And then I think 5 has the benefit of like bespoke dungeons. Like none of them are randomly generated, but a couple of them are not fun. That space one, the space burger one, sucks. It's annoying. That thing is annoying as hell.
Did you say
I also was
burger?
It's it's burgers that are space themed.
All right, I'm gonna check this game out at some point.
You should. Persona 5 Royal in particular is amazing.
Okay.
It's a challenge where you have to eat very large burger, and if you don't eat very large burger, bad happen. But if you do eat very large burger, you get big stat buff.
Oh.
So Persona 4 has something similar, but it's the beef bowl where you go to the meat dimension.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Say Persona 5 doesn't have Funky Student.
Doesn't.
That's
a shame.
Doesn't have I think Persona also is the thing where whichever was the one you got obsessed with first is always going to be your favorite.
Yes, I think I've been told that I specifically need to play Persona 5, but I'm worried that 4 just has like the vibes of 4 are fantastic. The battle music in particular is something I could listen to forever and never get tired of it.
I say that is also true of 5.
Okay.
So, I would say that I think the thing you would like most about 5 is the story.
Okay.
I think the story is very Aaron vibes.
All right.
It is very much rebel against corrupt authority and change society.
Story, yes, it's rebel against corrupt authorities.
Which I've also been told is a reason to check out Metaphor just due to its themes, but
yeah, I'm currently going through that one at a snail's pace, but I am going through it, and yeah, that one's pretty good. Okay. I like that one. I also think that one's kind of harder than Persona is.
Oh man! All right.
Granted, I play all these games on normal, so you obviously turn them down to story mode and just beast your way through them.
That's true.
But I've been playing it on normal, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, some of these battles, bro.
That's the thing I've been coming to terms with, is that for reviews, I always play on normal, but for anything else, I'm just like, man, I'm just here for the vibes. I'm here to enjoy video games being a thing. I'm not here for the challenge.
So like 5 takes place in Shibuya, and it's just a real place. It's just takes place in a real place that I've been to. I went there. I went there and I saw that place. In the place where you meet the politician character for the politician side story, when I was in Shibuya, there was a guy, there's this old dude with a really long beard and a ton of like weed paraphernalia around him, screaming into a microphone about how much he wants weed in Japan and how it's fucked up that it's illegal. And then he pointed at me and he said, "American! Weed!" And I went, "Sure, dude." And he went, "Yeah." It was great.
To be fair, among the Japanese populace, if I looked at you, weed would be, one of the first things.
You would think that's. I've gotten that impression a lot. I don't really smoke weed.
Right.
I'm gonna be real. If I saw the three of us in this podcast, like just in this podcast view, I would assume these are three dudes who smoke a lot of weed, who own either a retro game store or a record store that is barely above water, if at all.
Yeah.
And mostly just sit around talking about old video games and old music all day.
Right.
That would be my assumption looking at the three cameras.
Just nerdy clerks. That's all it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the money for that kind of habit.
That's the thing. It's too much to even. We're so down that the dream of owning a small business that not even
the dream of sitting barely above water and smoking weed is not economically viable.
It really isn't.
That's so unbelievable. I mean, we already own a small business. It's just that it's not profitable.
It just makes no money at all.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to new reality.
We are. Hold on. Let me do the math.
Okay. I can't wait for this.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute.
Hold on. Include the fact that we all pay for Google Drive.
Where does that set us?
That's minus $12 per person.
Oh boy. He's doing the
We
math.
are $87 in the hole this year.
Yeah.
Because we have made $66, but spent well above that.
Hell yeah.
So,
that's right.
God
damn it. All right. Well, anyway, Persona 4, the place where we can escape to a world where that isn't the case. Could be getting a remake soon-ish. Maybe not soon-ish. Who knows?
Honestly, considering how fast that Persona 3 remake came around, I could totally see this being out in the next year or two. 100%.
I want to play Persona 4.
I would love to replay Persona 4 for the 6th time, especially prettier and on Steam Deck.
That's a game that, like, when it comes out, I would love for us to all get on stream and just play it together.
Oh, let's play of Persona 4?
Yeah,
yes, please.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So,
funny thing is, I also want to show that game to my girlfriend, so I'd be playing 3 different saves at the same time.
Oh God, that'd be a
running at
thing.
one with. Yeah, because she's a big fan of like murder mysteries and that kind of stuff, and that game is legitimately a murder mystery where you have to figure out who the killer is.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
To supplement my story from the beginning before we move on, there's one other game that has bounced me like Persona 4, where I was just like, oh, I guess I'm just bad at this. And that is Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies.
Like the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
How?
For some reason, I just cannot judge the distance of damage for the zombies, and I can't avoid getting hit. And that's a pretty fundamental skill to be able to play it.
Yeah.
And so every time I played, I make it like a couple rounds. And then the moment I have to train a zombie or move around a zombie, I get hit every time.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's a weird one because I'm good at FPS games.
Right. Huh. Interesting.
I'm good at Call of Duty. I played that.
I don't know what to tell you. That's something that we'd have to get on stream and watch together. That's
yeah.
I have got no the answer here, man.
Nor do I.
All right. Well, what's the next one?
Speaking of, we were talking about Persona 4. Speaking of murder mysteries minus the mystery, God of War. We like God of War.
Yeah, I like those games. Those are good games.
Yeah. Well, apparently they're getting a side
God
story project in Greece.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
You don't?
No, because
burned out hellscape, right? Like,
well, yeah, like okay, so even if they do like a prequel, which they could do, they've done 2. Actually, no, 3. Like, I feel like they have done everything they could possibly do in the Greece setting.
Right.
Like, I feel like you know, like I love those games. I've played all of them. I'm a big fan of the franchise. I thought that a big part of the reason why we went to Norse is because one, the ending of 3, but also there was a game that came out between 2018 and 3. It was God of War Ascension, and it was another prequel, and it was set in Greece. And even myself, a big fan of the franchise, played it, and I was like,
perfect timing. That is.
I'm tired of it. What the fuck? What the fuck just happened?
oh, that was great. That was incredible.
That is quite the reaction to God of War Ascension, let me tell you.
That's how you felt. You felt deja vu.
That was not intentional. My internet dropped, apparently. I'm sorry, everybody.
That's awesome. All right. Your reaction to God of War Ascension.
My reaction to God of War Ascension at the time was like, this, I'm tired of this. I'm so tired of this style of God of War gameplay. I'm tired of Greece. We ended the Greece trilogy. We've done a bunch of prequels already. So, and then they went to Norse, and those 2 games were awesome. So, like, doing another side project in Greece, I'm just like, oh, please no.
Side project is, I believe it's God of War 2, where a Kratos meets a man, and for no reason crushes him in gears.
Yeah. Okay.
Just shoves him in gears. Side story: that guy. I want to see what he been up to. What did he do with his life to lead him up to that point where he walks up to Kratos, gets picked up and put in gears?
There you go. Yeah, I'm into it. All right.
Okay, so
make it like really excessively tragic. Like make him go through a lot. Make him accomplish things. Make him have a family and so much to live for. And then he walks up to Kratos. I believe he's like begging him for help or something. And then he just picks him up and squishes him in some gears for no reason.
So shit posting aside,
well, that's the thing. Like what you were talking about is that they did the Greek mythology thing. They've been expanding on mythologies. There's a number of mythologies they can expand to. Why are we going back?
Like, legitimately, I would rather just have another Norse game. Like, just give me a side story of like prequel Kratos in Norse. You know, like don't give me this shit where it's just like, yeah, we're going back to the old gameplay style, which is fine. I love those games gameplay wise.
Yeah.
Like, I think those still hold up. But like, we're going back to the old gameplay style while simultaneously also like going back to the old setting, even though everyone was burnt out on the old setting. I realize this was a long time ago. God of War Ascension came out over a decade ago.
Yep.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But like, come on, man. We're tired out here.
You know, I guess it depends entirely on what the side story actually is. You know, if there's a real purpose for doing this and how it relates back to the main story, that could be really interesting, and also a way of getting new God of War fans dipping their toes into how the old ones played.
Yeah.
Okay. The side story is after the end of God of War 3, Zeus was fine, actually.
He just restores everything.
The whole cell issue, or Majin Buu, just kill him and then like, oh, okay, well.
Oh, he was actually cool.
All right.
I really hope that this is wrong and we actually are getting just a remastered collection, because it's really weird that you can only play 3 of the 8 games on the current console when it's like their biggest franchise.
Yeah.
Really weird. That's really a weird thing that like you can play.
We made how many remasters of Last of Us now? We got nothing for God of War. Okay.
We have Last of Us, PS4, PS5, and PS3. We have God of War 3, and then we have the 2 new ones, but you can't play 1, 2, or any of the 3 prequels. And I'm just like, why? What? Like, 2 of those are PSP games that you can get on the classic service immediately. I don't know why you haven't done that yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, there are already remasters of 1 and 2 on PS3. I cannot imagine those are hard to port to PS5. I'm just like, why not do that? Like that, like, in all honesty, if they want to make a ton of money, they could just sell like God of War Anthology. Here's all 8 games, $80.
Yeah.
Yo, dog, get all of them. Play the entire Kratos' life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be good. So for the context here of the actual news juice in question, the entire story is a tweet from Jeff Grubb.
Right, yes. That's what we're squeezing out of this here. So
where he says, okay, everyone keeps asking about this, so I've tried to find out more. There's still a Greek God of War thing coming out this year, but it's not a remaster collection. It's a new side story project.
Very good.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's still come out this year. So we'll see whatever it is, I imagine, soon.
I mean, hey, Sony's supposed to have a good year. We're getting Death Stranding, getting Ghost of Yote, getting this. If that's all true.
Well, I'm sorry, I missed. Did they mention a developer in the tweet, or was that just?
No word.
Nope.
I'm kind of curious.
It's a retweet. It's a quote tweet of mind you, actually, this is not a tweet. It's a Blue Sky. It's a quote Blue Sky.
Okay.
It's a quote Blue Sky of. I think those God of War remastered rumors just jumped the gun a little bit. That stuff will happen closer to this. And then he said, okay, everyone keeps asking about this, so I try to find out more. Still a Greek God of War thing coming out this year, but it's not a remaster collection. It's a new side story.
Okay.
That's it. That's everything.
Great. All right.
I honestly want to play God of War 1 and 2 without having to use emulators or pull out a almost 20-year-old console.
Yeah, it's ancient history at this point, but God of War 2 was like a big game when it came out.
Yeah, that game was dope. It was amazing. That was an incredible game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dog. Let me play God of War 2.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't play it. I didn't play any of these games. I have never played a God of War.
I wonder if they'll hit anywhere close to as hard as when they came out.
I definitely don't think they're as edgy anymore.
Well, certainly,
like playing. The God of War 1 was like edgy as fuck, and now it's just like normal.
So I've seen a lot of stuff from God of War, and specifically like 1 through 3, and those games all just seem really funny to me.
They kind of are.
They kind of are, yeah.
Because they're trying to be edgy, but it's just like really stupid, and I love that.
It makes so much sense when you're appealing to 12-year-olds in the early 2000s, but when it's like, all right, now you're going to rotate the right stick to have sex with this lady off screen and watching this vase move back and forth, like, this is dumb as hell. All right, great.
Press circle to throw that guy into the gears.
Yep.
Kill random people for literally no reason all the time.
That's Kratos. That's Kratos. I assume pre-reboot or whatever.
Post-reboot, he's like, I shouldn't have killed all those people.
That was kind of fucked up of me.
That was maybe a little fucked.
I think that. How do you feel about the gameplay of like Zelda or Devil May Cry?
I love
kind of the
Devil May Cry because that was some dope shit I done did, but not because I find its gameplay super like, okay, I've played other games that try to be like Devil May Cry that have that same style of, beat up a monster, you're big and strong, and I have found them boring before on account of the fact that they're not Devil May Cry, and it's not dope as all fuck while I'm doing it, which is why Devil May Cry is cool. So if I'm playing God of War and it feels like Devil May Cry, but it's not the sickest shit ever, then it would be bad for me.
So this is what I would describe. The way I would describe God of War. I was like, the combat is similar to a character action game like that.
Character action.
But
yeah.
it has like Zelda style puzzles.
Yeah.
Like all over the motherfucker. And then these like the parts that are dope as fuck are the set pieces.
Right.
Like like when you are playing God of War 1, that Hydra fight 20 years later, which by the way, God of War just turned 20, everybody. Yay.
Good Lord. All right.
Yeah, I know. That just me and Aaron turned to dust. But like when you still like even now when you do that Hydra fight, like I played it recently on an emulator, it's still kick ass, dude.
Sure.
You fucking impale the Hydra's head on the goddamn pirate ship mast, and you're like, fuck yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like so like depending on how reactionary you are to cool as fuck set pieces that are very much kind of QTEs,
Yes.
you might dig that.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah.
It's really hit or miss for me, I think. You know, you've gotta get me invested in how cool this is and how like I need a sense of scale. If you want to make me
they do that great. They fucking do that perfect.
If you want to make me be invested in this being a climactic and cool thing happening, I need to be convinced that it's not actually just easy. And that's my issue that I've seen with God of War is that it feels like he's getting into these fights with these gods and they're just jobbing super hard for him. And you know, because I've like watched other people play God of War, and I've watched like Let's Plays and stuff, and the cutscenes never impacted me super hard because it's like nah, but that guy's a bitch is basically what it seems like every time he's fighting a god, is that guy talks about how cool he is, but that guy hasn't done or anything to make me think that he's cool. And I think it's a problem that the series might have on account of the fact that like Kratos is just better than all of these guys, and it's really not willing to show Kratos losing in any way at any point. Except for like through bullshit hacks like right at the beginning, and then it's all him just coming back and crushing shit the rest of the way. So that made it so that in a lot of these things I see where it's like, oh, did he kill the fast guy? Yeah, well, he did. He kills everybody.
So
but that's,
yeah,
I don't know. I think that's kind of part of the fun, the fantasy of it. But if you're not into that, then...
yeah.
I also think
I am into that. I wouldn't be able to quite know until I play it.
Right.
Yeah, so here's my take on God of War. God of War 1 doesn't hold up as well. In fact, I would recommend just watching the cutscenes for it.
You don't want to solve a giant puzzle on a turtle?
It's on a Titan.
Whatever.
That one's on a Titan.
Whatever thing you got to be on that's carrying on its back.
Yeah, it's through the desert. Yeah, I still can go back to God of War 1, but that's because it was one of my favorite games ever at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I still like it a lot. But it definitely doesn't hold up as well, especially some of its late section points that even the developers are like, yeah, we didn't get to QA that enough. Sorry.
Right.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The hitboxes on these razors totally fucked. Yeah, sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that watch the cutscene to 1 and then play 2, because I feel like the first one is probably when Kratos is the most vulnerable, which makes sense because the game opens with him killing himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know? Yeah. So
I do think I could reasonably end up loving the God of War games. Like Aaron said, that's kind of the fantasy of it, right? Is that he comes in and he just kills everybody. And that is fun. And it might be good for me. I would have to play the games to find out.
Yeah.
That's good.
We'll have to arrange that sometime. I don't know. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we've been doing all this serious content creation recently. We're working on edited videos, and I'm taking notes while I'm playing Yakuza and working on this Nintendo editorial. And I've just had the urge, when I'm done with this, I kind of want to do a Let's Play.
There's, the thing, part of the fun of us having started doing this was, playing the video games with other people. So that's something worth considering.
Like I would love to watch Donkey go through God of War 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Speaking of character action games, Hideaki Tsuno, hope I said that right, who worked on Devil May Cry as well as Dragon's Dogma as director, says he's with the new studio and he's working on a AAA action game.
Is it called Angel May Sing?
Probably.
Angel May Sing. So here's the thing about this one. Here's the thing. We said at the beginning it was a slow news story day. And I feel like this is our most it's a slow news story day story, because I shit you not. Okay, here's what this story is, guys. Here's what the story is. The Devil May Cry and Dragon's Dogma director says he is still making video games at his video game studio.
So, okay, here's the thing. Here's what I'll say is, like, they could be working, when you work on a video game, it could be any video game.
Yep.
I'm happy to hear that the Devil May Cry guy is like, I'm working on a AAA action game. It could be Devil May Cry. It could be something else. But I want that.
He did specify. He did say it's a AAA action game, which is, let me think, the only kind of game he's ever made?
Dragon's Dogma, is that action?
Dragon's Dogma.
I call that an action game. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't put that in the same category as I do like DMC though.
I wonder if he would put this new action game.
They're fundamentally different games, but they're both, action games for your character. It has the DNA. Dragon's Dogma has deep DNA of the character action game in it.
It does, but it's still very much a Western RPG. Yeah, like, it's still very much a Western RPG.
And to be fair, to your point, Duncan, action as a descriptor for a video game is not exactly a specific thing. So we see Devil May Cry director work on AAA action game. We're like, oh my god! But who knows, man? There are a lot of things that are action.
I would love for this man to leave Capcom just to not make DMC 6. For him to effectively make DMC 6. It would be the funniest thing in the world to me.
I mean, what I want is, like, you talk about, like, the pinnacle of action games. People say Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. And it would be cool to see this guy go to a new company and start a new franchise that was on that level.
Yes, I would love that. I would love another, because it's, for some reason, those are really rare in the industry. Like the past decade, that kind of game is basically just Bayonetta 2 and 3, and then DMC 5. Yeah, that's it. Like that. If you want to go back a little further, like another year or two, you could add Metal Gear Rising to the list.
I was gonna say, that's what I want to see.
It is definitely exciting that he is out here talking about making a AAA action game, because he's made 3 very influential action games that have that real swagger to them. That's what DMC and Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising 2 all have that other action games don't have. I mean, God of War, we were just talking about, has the same kind of DNA of being like a character action game, but it doesn't have that kind of swagger.
It has a different kind of.
It's got other shit.
It has a very different type of swagger. It is a different kind of power fantasy. I still love it though. It's
Kratos is not hitting a pose. He's not hitting a pose.
No. Actually, in the newest one he does.
Does he hit the pose now?
Oh yeah, he hits a pose in the one with it. So his son, spoiler for God of War Ragnarok, everybody. His son has the ability to shapeshift, and you and your son do a finisher in this boss fight, and you do a pose at the end of it. He's in his bear form, you're in your form, and it's legitimately a pose. It's a lot more toned down the Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, but it is still, the camera lingers for them to stand there doing the thing.
It's
just
I want him to do that.
That would be good. They have a history. Lightspeed Studio has a history with making PUBG Mobile, League of Legends Wild Rift, Chinese version, Apex Legends Mobile, Final Fantasy XIV Mobile. But this is a new studio that is not what Lightspeed Studios has been doing. This is something else under his tutelage. So I'm unsure what this will be. I can hope and pray. Who owns Vanquish?
Platinum.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's yep.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be cool to see Revengeance too.
I would. That is Konami and was developed by Platinum. And as long as we get something as ridiculous as Rising 2, which that was supposed to be in development, I don't know what the hell happened there. Why that stopped. Especially because in hindsight, that game is like a giga meme game now. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen that scene of Raiden punching an invincible Senator Armstrong.
So
for nothing to happen.
So okay, I was on Blue Sky, I think it was last night, and I came across this fantastic discussion that piqued my interest of like bad movies. I love bad movies to death.
Same.
But there are these two different things where some people were conflating these two different things as one thing. And that is, there are people who make genuinely bad movies. They went to make a movie and it was just genuinely bad in a number of ways. And then there are people who are fans of those movies and are doing their own version of it purposefully. And it doesn't hit the same way.
Sharknado versus Birdemic.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Velocipaster versus Fateful Findings. Like, there's a difference.
God, I love Neil.
Bronson, have you never heard of these movies?
So much.
I've never heard. I've heard of Velocipaster.
Oh, I've heard of Fateful Findings. The only one I haven't heard of is Velocipaster.
It's all right. It's a fun time. It's like, did you see Kung Fury?
Nope.
Okay, Kung Fury is also super tongue-in-cheek, like 80s movie, whatever. So they're fun, but it's not the same thing.
Though.
Fateful Findings, The Room, all those great, just train wrecks. And the thing is, what I'm getting at is, what makes Revengeance so fantastic is they went so sincerely in this strange-ass direction that hit in such the right way. I don't have faith they can recreate that magic in a sequel.
See, the thing is like, I think that's almost every Kojima game after Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, I really do, and especially after 3. Like, I've been looking at like replaying the Metal Gear games again sometime soon, and I've been like,
I gotta play them.
Dude.
And I'm a huge Metal Gear fan just by consuming many video essays on what happens in Metal Gear.
You should fucking play those games. They're amazing.
Yeah,
they are.
It's just a big undertaking.
It is.
Yeah, well, yeah, like you know, and I am one of those people that I think Kojima was at his best when he had like people kind of reining him in a little bit. Like, I think his best games are Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3. And like 4 is kind of in the middle for me. And then I think everything after Metal Gear 4 is just, that man was allowed to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and Death Stranding is the fullest realization of that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You know, the thing about Metal Gear Rising is that because Kojima was involved in Metal Gear Rising.
He was.
Specifically in the writing of Metal Gear Rising, though he wasn't as involved in the game design as he has been with all of his prior games, because that was basically Platinum, just do you.
Yep.
And Platinum took the swagger that they put in Bayonetta, you know, that they were going to put in Bayonetta later. Because I believe this came out before Bayonetta, right? Rising
no, it came out after. It came out after the first Bayonetta.
Okay. So they took the swagger of Bayonetta and they went, we're going to put that in the Metal Gear setting. And Kojima was like, sick. Now let me soothsay upon this story and put the future in it, as he does for all of his games.
He does.
Which made it really hit. Also, other thing, Jetstream Sam. All the other characters in this are like some modified super freak. Jetstream Sam is a normal Brazilian man.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, he doesn't have special powers or anything. He has a suit, but like the suit isn't like, it's not like a power suit. He just has a sword that only he can use, and he is a regular Brazilian man.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing though. Metal Gear Rising was not like all that crazy to me because, or the hit a post stuff, and that stuff was that crazy because like I played Metal Gear 4, dog, and go watch go watch Vamp versus Raiden, like the first fight they have. Like it is straight up something you would totally see in a platinum game.
But that's the thing, is the Revengeance has this extra oomph that makes it extra meme worthy that a lot of Metal Gear, despite having equivalent levels of weirdness, just it's not something I can quantify with words. But it's
I think the excessive usage of the word meme over and over again throughout the game, and the game being about the concept of a meme, is probably a big part of what made it become so popular in internet culture.
I also think it's the music. I think a big part of that is the music as well.
I just like the idea of a politician just becoming just crazy buff. Nanomachine's son is such an incredible line.
You see, he played college ball.
Oh, cool. Yes, of course, of course. Oh man,
he could have gone pro.
Instead, he became Nanomachine president. But yeah, like that song, it has to be this way. Like set to that fight takes like what is very much a normal Metal Gear moment, you know, like, and then sets it
fucking up there.
Yeah, like I will be honest with you. I remember playing Rising for review when it came out. And I loved it, but I also like I was kind of just lukewarm on it, and then I started getting to moments with music, and I was less like, "Oh, this is what takes it over the top."
Yeah,
this is
a great job of introducing the lyrics at climactic moments.
Yeah,
yep.
You know, with songs like "There Will Be Blood," just like introducing these fucking nonsensical lyrics, like. It doesn't make sense.
Nope. Who cares?
You know, the line, "I am the only one who can ride upon the dragon's back. Mountains don't give back what they take." It's
what are you talking about?
It's fucking out there. It's great.
I've gotten a few AI prompts that are just sentences like that. What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, like I remember that first scene when you fight the Metal Gear Ray and you block.
Rules of nature.
Yeah, you get the quick time event for the first time, and the music cue happens, and you are just like, "Oh, really fun!
Yeah,
let's go!"
It's hype.
Like, yeah, like. So what I'm saying is Kojima needs to do these crazy action scenes, but with just better music.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just going to bring it up just real quick because it's popped up in my head a couple times as we've been talking about these games. Man, Asura's Wrath, huh?
Game seems sick as hell. Another one
you want to talk about games that are never getting released ever again, ever.
I know. But man, what that game was.
Oh, yeah, I'm super glad that I have it on my Xbox. Like, I'm glad that it's backwards compatible and it's available to me. Like...
Yeah.
The game seems sick.
All right. Well, we got two more news stories. We're gonna blow through these. Hey, dog, did you like Baldur's Gate 3? Do you want more of that? Ooh, I messed up on my titles. Do you want more Baldur's Gate 3? Or just Baldur's Gate, I guess.
I do not want it if it's not made by Larian.
Yeah. Well,
the story is effectively a lie. Because they're like, "No, guys, you're gonna hear about Baldur's Gate 4, and it's gonna be great." But Hasbro nuked its relationship with Larian by firing everybody that Larian spoke to during the process of making Baldur's Gate 3 the moment Baldur's Gate 3 came out. And then Larian went, "Okay, so we don't know anybody at Hasbro anymore, I guess." and then they're like, no, we got these new guys, just far fewer. And they were like, yeah, we're not cool with that. We liked those people that you fired.
Mhm.
We wanted to work with them. And so Hasbro is effectively desperately going, guys, no, give us that much money again.
And this is literally something that I don't understand how the money people do not get this. It is like legitimately, especially when you have a winner. Like, okay, fine. There's high risk in unproven people. That's fine. But it's just like Baldur's Gate 3 is like one of the most successful games of all time. Like, it's absurdly popular. Like, it is always one of the top 10 most played games on Steam and Steam Deck. It's insanely
really
popular on
incredible considering its early access origins, you know?
Yes. But like you know, like I guarantee you, if I go into Steam right now, it will be in the top 20, if not top 10. Yeah, it's number 14 on the most played right now. And people love that goddamn game to death, and it sells boatloads of copies. You know, I've actually like briefly considered getting a console copy just to easily play it on the TV. And like looking at that game and like just Hasbro say, oh yeah, can you guys just do that again? Like, we would like you to print infinite money again. You know, instead they're like, let's fire a bunch of people related to that project that they liked working with, and let's work with a different developer.
Yeah, they just
know,
literally don't see the connection. They just think, oh, we paid a studio money. And no, sorry, we made a studio pay us money and got a bunch of brand awareness for it. Let's just have another studio do that. And they probably just don't get the difference between a studio like Larian and any other AAA game developer. Which Larian isn't even a AAA game developer. They made a AAA game.
Right. Yeah. It's insane. It's a wonderful story of how they made what they did with what they had.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah, they just don't understand. So here we are.
It's like it's oh god.
So you can look forward to more Baldur's Gate news.
Oh yeah, they're gonna farm this out to like, I don't know, like it'd be really funny if it was BioWare, do a partnership with EA.
Yeah, they got enough problems right now.
And then that'd be really funny. That'd be the funniest thing imaginable, to farm it out to BioWare.
All right, we'll keep an eye on this. Last news story. They were talking about doing a Marvel gaming universe.
Yeah. Did I forget to put the Assassin's Creed story in the docket? Whatever, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, you did. I also have a bonus story I can think of that happened this week.
Well,
we'll rattle it off after this here. So, okay. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was a big thing. They liked linking all that stuff together, and then it all converged into 2 movies at the end. It was awesome. They were thinking about doing this for games. Is that what I'm reading here?
Yeah, so basically what it was is that before the MCU, what was his name? Let's see, Irving. I forget his name. He worked with Bungie. He made Halo. Alex Irving.
Okay.
Yep.
So Alex Irving was working with Disney and went, hey guys, we should do this thing where there's like a collective universe and all of our games are interconnected and they have crossovers and they lead up to one big event. And this was before the MCU apparently had taken off. It wasn't before it started, but it was before it had taken off. It was like pre-Avengers, and so he was like, he was like, yeah, we should do this thing similar to what we're thinking about doing with movies, what we're trying to do there. And they just went, man, that shit seems complicated. Largely because Alex Irving was deeply involved with one of the best ARGs of all time, I Love Bees, which was Halo 2's promotional ARG, and he definitely wanted to include a bunch of ARG shit in the games. to basically make a big mystery that leads up to a climactic event, likely of a major game release that was a climax event of a bunch of different games. And he probably wanted to interweave all of these things with a multimedia project, like what I Love Bees was. And that would have been a great idea, but also could have gone really bad because a lot of really shitty Marvel games came out. So
yeah.
It's a kind of a mixed bag there, because those shitty Marvel games probably still would have come out, but they would have been part of this interconnected ARG universe, which would have been weird.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been a weird thing to deal with, where you're like, oh yeah, Insomniac Spider-Man, that's awesome. Sucks that it's connected to Marvel's Avengers, the game, which completely flopped and was shit.
We liked that game, goddammit.
The single player was great.
Listen, what was the line that Hulk had? It was Hulk noises.
Yeah.
Where they were just missing the dialogue.
Yep. Hey, look.
Like that game had a lot of potential that we believed in, and they just completely squandered it.
Yep.
Yeah. I wish it got released, but some other unfinished thing came out.
That shit was broken. Erased people's save files. Thankfully, did not do that to me.
Oh, didn't it have like a memory leak problem? Didn't it have like just this insane set of technical issues that was like also the sort of thing that QA absolutely caught and definitely told the developers about, and they just went, "We don't have time. Ship that shit."
That Captain America does not have a face. All right, send it out.
That entire game definitely had that vibe. I remember when we were really into it and hoping it would turn out great. And like playing it 4-player co-op and playing the story was like super fun. Like that game 4-player co-op with me, you, Ray, were doing that shit. Like that was super fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. However, like they just never added more enemy types, and they eventually fixed the technical issues, which hey, great.
Yeah.
But they never added more enemy types, which that sucks. And not only did they not add more enemy types, most of the heroes they added besides Spider-Man were basically just other versions of existing heroes.
It was Spider-Man and Black Panther were the original ones that were added, and then it was like, fucking here's Hawkeye 2, here's Thor 2, here's and the plan was to get Hulk 2, and it was like, okay, you guys.
Yeah. I'll say that.
Yeah.
The ARG part of this proposal would have been fucking sick, though. I love ARGs. I mentioned even earlier that my favorite game of all time is Noita, which might be an ARG. We don't know. That mystery is still unsolved after 3 years. ARGs are sick, and I Love Bees in particular is like one of the coolest ones of all time, and was insanely successful and made like a ton of money for Halo 2. It was a huge part of why marketing went so good.
Well, I remember that whole marketing campaign, and I was following along with it. Like, I didn't do the shit where I went to the movie theater, but like I followed that whole thing online. It did keep me engaged in Halo 2 marketing even more than I already was when I was a teenager. I think that like this could have been wildly successful when I think about it. I think and I thought that's what they were doing. Like when they put out that Spider-Man game and it was awesome, and they're like, we're doing an Avengers game. And I was like, oh, so those are obviously going to be like, this is going to be the game universe. And they're like, no, it's separate universes, dog. I'm like, okay, weird choice, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so,
my big take here is that Marvel figured out how to just make good movies. They unfigured it out, apparently.
Yes.
Apparently they're making a lot of bad movies.
I think that they put out too many and were rushing too much shit, because like their last 2 or 3 movies were actually pretty good. Like Deadpool and Guardians 3 were both sick.
Well, so Guardians is like putting it in James Gunn's hands, right? And letting him do this thing. So that's fine.
Figured out, let's give a lot of money to talented people and to good directors and tell them to make good things, and follow it closely and add it to this major universe. Video games are bigger than movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you were able to figure that out for video games too, you would have had more money. Like the market is larger.
Well, like I think that if you were to like, if Sony really wanted to commit to working with Marvel, like they already have the Spider-Man games and Wolverine. If they could like go to, I don't know, like Sony Santa Monica, they're working on something, and be like, hey, Sony Santa Monica, do you want to make like a Captain America game?
Mm-hmm.
And like they say yes, and to get that integrated with the Insomniac stuff, like, yeah, you could have like awesome stuff. I don't want Sony to do that because I like their new IP.
Right.
I do think that it is a potentially really cool and profitable idea if you're someplace that has a lot of studios that are very talented. Which
the issue is that you can't just dump money into video games and make them good.
No,
I think the real
you can't do that with movies either.
The real thing about video games is talent acquisition, and the current structure of the game's creation space is such that they don't have anyone who is familiar enough with games to do talent acquisition on the scale required to make these games, because AAA game companies are awful at talent acquisition and retention.
Right.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's why, like, okay, who are the studios right now who have been doing well? From Software, Capcom, Nintendo. What do all three of those have in common? All their employees are retained, and two of them are paid well. Like Nintendo's developers and Capcom's developers are paid above average. They're treated better than average, and they stay there until they're dead. In fact, I had a friend who worked at. Sorry, what?
And they keep breaking records.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I had a friend who worked at Nintendo, and they're like, yeah, basically the only way to get a promotion here is for someone to retire or die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
my Japanese teacher was friends with one of the Pokemon designers, and he was like, yeah, that dude makes great money and is basically never gonna not have a job. They're always gonna pay him to do that, and they don't overwork him. And I'm like, damn, okay, great.
But like it's and that I hope other studios figure this out eventually. It seems like Remedy has as well. It seems like but it seems but this also goes against what a lot of Western studios like to do. Mm-hmm. Your EAs, your Ubisofts, your anyone under the Microsoft umbrella, which is like, nah, dog, you're here for a project. We fire you, and then we may rehire you when we do new project. It's like, that's it. And that's partly why Microsoft, all their shit is wildly inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
I'm just thinking about Avengers again. Think about
what could have been.
Think about like the structure of what that game was not unappealing. One, it needed to not be broken. You need to release it when it's finished, as close to finished as possible, which is not that. Two, you needed to keep making new stuff and not putting out new stuff that copied off what you already have in there because it's not interesting. But three, imagine how much more successful this game would have been had it just looked like Marvel Rivals. Like,
right?
You look at the way Captain America looks in Marvel's Avengers, and it's like, you went to a Goodwill to get outfitted, huh?
If only they had embraced the power of the goon.
Yeah. Like the currency stuff was a big concern at the time because it was like people were tired of it. They did the same thing with Gotham Knights and all. But like people are willing to tolerate it if it's fun, which the gameplay itself is fun and engaging so long as you keep it varied up. When you go through the same fucking forest to the same fucking room to Taskmaster or Killer Croc or whatever. Not Killer Croc.
Abomination.
Wrong.
Killer Croc's DC, my guy.
Yeah. Look, they're big. You understand.
The big guy.
He's a big guy. if there's obviously there's a bigger conversation around like what they could, do with what they had to vary stuff up, but like there was something there, and they could have made this MGU thing happen with that game, but they just
I totally think like I played a bunch of Iron Man that game, and he was a blast. He was super fun to play. I think that game needed to look better. I think that game needed more varied enemies, and I think it just needed another year of development time, but that wasn't going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So,
they just felt they had to. This goes back to, man, when you're under pressure from people to get things out at a certain time because that's how the business works. What do you know? You release a substandard product. Oh, that's interesting. Let's learn nothing from this.
Well, Yahtzee, let's all laugh at an industry that never learns anything.
We should play Marvel's Avengers again sometime on stream.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Let me say
Duncan,
briefly.
they don't sell it anymore. Duncan can't play with us.
Oh,
they delisted it.
Unfortunate.
Well, that'd be a fun YouTube video anyway,
probably
delving into this old game that no one can get anymore.
Yeah. So before we go, let me say my micro bonus story.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, Duncan, I can get you a Steam key for $7.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. So micro bonus story.
Yeah.
Microsoft announced at Minecraft Live the Happy Guest, and it's cute and good and very useful. It's a flying mount mob that you can tame and put a little harness on, and it infinitely flies around, and you can be a mount on it, and you get off of it, and it's a 3x3 platform in the air, and 4 people can mount it. And It's great. It's one of the first Minecraft updates in a long time that I'm like, oh, that's cool and exciting.
Huh. Okay. Sure.
Happy gas.
Yeah, here, let me
it's a guest, but instead of crying, it's happy.
Is it this guy? This
It's that guy.
Huh. Okay.
You see, he only wears the goggles when you're riding him, and then when you're not riding him, he has the goggles off.
Okay. That's an interesting little update. Cool.
Yeah.
Bronson, what was this Assassin's Creed story?
Oh, it sold 2 million copies in like the first week.
Gangbusters. Yeah.
That's Assassin's Creed.
It's
despite
it's doing well enough. It's basically doing well, but they're not sure if it's well enough to save the company.
It's not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. They waited too long to keep their Hail Mary. People have been asking for this game for years, and they waited till well after Ghost of Tsushima was out to do it. They screwed themselves.
Yep.
So.
And as far as their stock goes, hey, it trended upwards this week after the release,
Sure.
but it's not enough to move the needle. That's for damn sure.
Not
In
by
fact,
50. It didn't double its evaluation and get it back to where it was.
Yeah. Nope.
This time last year, Ubisoft stock was at roughly. Here we go. Was at roughly $4.92. Right now, it's at $2.61.
It's really bad.
So,
yep,
pretty bad. Bad times. I hear the game is okay. It's probably the best one they've put out in a decade.
Wow.
So
I'm sure Lucy's happy about it.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Yep. Good for him.
Well, yeah, Assassin's Creed is going to Assassin's Creed. We will continue the 2025 story of what is the eventual fate of Ubisoft, because this was not going to bail them out. While it was going to be successful, people still like to play Assassin's Creed, regardless of whatever drama was drummed up around that game. But it was never going to be enough to save
maybe they
them.
get bought by China.
What was that news story? They're trying to form a new entity.
Trying to get Tencent to buy them out to be private.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, but yeah, that's the news for this week.
That's the news.
We did it.
We did
and
it. We got
hit our
through.
2-hour mark.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, or I will swallow toxic amounts of metal, and it'll pass my blood-brain barrier it'll be a whole problem in the long term for my cognitive ability.
How much metal is toxic to swallow?
It depends on the metal.
While I'm looking
It's
this up,
probably a pretty low amount.
it's got to be low. Heavy metal poisoning. Now that could be something completely different.
All heavy metals they break apart into small enough pieces in your body to pass the blood-brain barrier, enter your brain, and then cause long-term issues with your brain. That's why it's just called general heavy metal poisoning.
Hell yeah. I was thinking of music, but yes, this works too.
The go-to is lead. Gotcha. And I could find lead if I tried.
Yeah, it's out there. So, yeah, we're on social media. Pick your favorite social media. We're there. We're on
Save
YouTube.
me from the lead poisoning.
Yes. So like and subscribe to help us out. That would be great. Definitely comment on our videos. We like interacting with y'all and have it furthering the conversation. And then we're on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Feel free to subscribe to us there. Give us a review. Would appreciate it very much. But
say nice things about us.
Say nice things about us. We're very fragile.
Notice us, senpais.
Thank you all so much. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you on the internet. We're watching.
See you soon. Bye, all.